This video is really important for anyone to watch because it kind of proves something I was saying before. Now, I said that Ra is an Anunnaki named Marduk, and Ra in Egyptian times. And I said the reason why I believe, this is my own conclusion, that the depiction of him being brown, whereas the Anunnakis were pale skin, is because they worked out in the Middle East in the sun for hundreds of thousands of years and got tanned, whereas his daughters, and it seems the females, are generally marked down as a paler colour. Now, obviously people laughed at me when I said that I think they were suntanned, but of course, hundreds of thousands of years in the Middle East, chances are you will get suntan. Now have a listen to this. This is an expert here, Spencer McDaniel. Have a listen to this expert.
Furthermore, as strange as it may seem to us, the ancient Greeks and Romans often associated skin color less with race and more with gender, because in those times it was darker skin was associated with men and paler skin was associated with women, because men were expected to work outside and get tanned, and women were expected to remain indoors and remain pale. And so Greek and Roman artists actually sometimes use skin color as an artistic convention to demarcate gender.
So it's exactly what I was pretty much saying before, so I kind of feel vindicated once again, as always. So that would explain why Marduk, as an Anunnaki, is depicted as a darker skin compared to what he would actually have been. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you. Ancient India and aliens. I was going to go and cover ancient Roman aliens, but to be honest, you can learn as much as you want from Greeks, because the Greeks were the same gods, etc. So moving on to ancient Indian, I'm going to hopefully show you in the next few videos things that you don't know about regarding aliens and Indians. So for example, look at this here. You never guess where they get their turbans from. Yes, the Anunnaki. If you look at all the drawings of the Anunnaki and carvings and statues, etc., you see that they actually do wear turbans. But not just that, I'm also going to explain and hopefully and showing you stuff that you've never seen before, such as their craft and how it works and how it's connected to the Anunnaki and how their temples are connected to the Anunnaki and who was the one that went over from Mesopotamia to India, etc. So follow for more. Ancient India did have Anunnaki, which were aliens. Now, to work out who was there, we need to know the date. So we'll go through that in the next video, but watch this video for a minute.
Ancient temple at Lepakshi, and here we can see the strange carving that shows a very unique deity. You can see that it has a reptilian face, looking almost like a lizard, and the hand gesture shows a blessing posture. When I asked the locals who this god is, they told me it is called Anunnaki. It sounds very similar to Anunnaki, the gods well known.
Okay, so first of all, hand in blessing position. The Anunnaki never blessed anyone. We were the ones that blessed the Anunnaki. So for an Anunnaki to be sitting there praying to themselves is a bit stupid. Also, anyone that's done any research actually works out that this actually was a gift for those that were heroes. They actually got a helmet and wings, which is true, explains why that's there. But also, when you look at carvings of Anunnaki, they are not reptilian. They're just not. I mean, I can go through so many pictures of them. Is that a reptilian? No. Is that a reptilian giant compared to humans? No. No. Now, this one is, if you go by Zachariah Sitchin, this was supposed to be Ayana with her hair done up, but somehow it got all squashed, which is understandable over a long period of time and made out of clay. Of course, people then said, well, that's reptilian, therefore they're all reptilians, even though, the proportions, look at this. This is nothing like what the actual carvings are for the Anunnaki. Everything is symmetrically perfect. So that, when you get that one, which is kind of like almost like a kid's doing, compared to these ones, which are absolutely fantastic, this is fantastic. Everything is fantastic in terms of proportions for the Anunnaki, and then you get that odd one there that I was just showing you, which people seem to think there was a reptilian. The Anunnaki never described themselves as reptilian. Also, we've got tablets that literally say that we're in their image. We have those in the British Museum. So when we're in their image, I don't see me being a reptilian of any kind. And as you see here, these are all absolutely stunning carvings, which I certainly couldn't do today. So when you have one that's a bit off, you know, out of clay that does melt, it doesn't mean they're reptilian. So keep watching for more ancient Indian videos about Anunnaki. Ancient aliens, Anunnaki in India. First, we need to know how they got from Africa to India and when. So as you can see here, you can actually physically walk from Africa to India, which gives us our starting place of Africa, because we know that from ancient texts that's in the British Museum that says life started in Africa as Homo sapiens sapiens, and that's because of the Anunnaki genetically modified Neanderthal there. But so when did the first people actually arrive? This is what mainstream say, 65,000 years ago. That's fine, because the first people in Africa were 300,000 years ago, so that's no problem at all. That makes sense. Now, just because it's 65,000 years ago doesn't mean the Anunnaki were there at that point. They wasn't. They came along a lot later. I'm going to have to do this in two parts because it's running out. But basically, this here is the oldest known building, and this dates only the third. Following on from my last video about ancient aliens in India, this is a building called Sanchi, and it's the oldest, one of the oldest known buildings in India, and it's from the 3rd century BCE. If you watch my previous video, we know that humans were in India way before the 3rd century BCE. So what makes me think this was an Anunnaki building? First of all, it's a place of worship. Now, the Anunnaki did not have religion. They just wanted you to worship them because they were technically smarter than we were, because they created us. So this building here is, wait for it, is made from, you guessed it, sandstone. And if you watch my other videos, you know that sandstone has quartz in it. And if you realize that quartz has a resonance frequency, that all the major so Stonehenge, Great Pyramids, etc., all of those buildings, ancient buildings that we will find struggle to create, had quartz in, and that's because it was levitation using frequency.